Hello, everybody. Good late morning or early afternoon. And I got to make a video about this one, even though we all knew this was probably going to be the case. It didn't take a genius to figure out what the Heisman Trophy was going to encompass this year in terms of its most likely winners. And they've named their finalists for the Heisman Trophy. And it's the guys that everyone pretty much expected. And most interestingly for me, we have a Washington Husky there. Michael Penix Jr. is one of the top four. He is a finalist. He will be there in New York for the presentation, and that's pretty cool. This is not something that happens all that often at UW. As much as we are a very storied organization that has done a lot of great things, we haven't ever brought home a Heisman Trophy. In fact, we usually don't even come close because our great team, the 1991 Huskies, the great 1991 team, that was a team mostly driven by their defense, and defensive players don't win the Heisman all that often, and that team was very much a team effort. So there was nobody really on that team who made sense to win the Heisman Trophy because they were just it was too much of a team effort. And we've had guys like Jake Browning put up monster numbers, but everyone knows they're kind of a product of the system. Everybody knows they're not actually driving the excellence of the team. So they get a couple of votes, but they're never really a contender to win. We've had some players put up good numbers on teams that just weren't good enough. So UW's been around a long time. They've had some great players, but most of them have not been quarterbacks, and obviously quarterbacks have a advantage in the Heisman Trophy race. So if Michael Penix wins the Heisman Trophy this year, he will be the first UW Husky ever to win it. In fact, I think we've only had a finalist once before. So this is monumental, this is historic, this is major, and Michael Penix Jr. deserves to make that Final Four, and I'm really proud of him. It's awesome to see. I love it, and I of course hope he wins it just as a UW fan. Of course, I want him to win it. I want him to win everything. I want him to be the national championship winner. I want him to be the Heisman winner. I want him to have everything. I want him to be the number one overall pick. I want him to be happy. That being said, we got to take a look at some of these other guys as well. You've got Jaden Daniels, you've got Marvin Harrison Jr., and you've also got Bo Nix. So here's how I see it, and I'm going to try to be as real as I can here, and I'm just going to be honest as somebody who watched every UW game this year. So the one I don't really know that much about, the one I can't really figure out here because it's a different comparison, is Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a wide receiver. He put up monster numbers for OSU, but his numbers were actually a little bit better last year. Now, the difference is last year he was playing with an elite quarterback in CJ Stroud. This year he has Kyle McCord, who is, I mean, he's probably not even an NFL quarterback at all on any level. He might be a future insurance salesman. So this year Marvin Harrison gets way more credit for putting up a roughly similar season. So I don't really know how to factor him in here, but he had a great season. My initial reflex is to just put him in last place here as the fourth. That would be my guess, but I don't know how they're going to look at this because it was kind of a weird year for quarterbacks. Usually there would be a quarterback who's just the sweet and easy guy to give it to. This year there isn't, so maybe they just go, you know what, let's give it to a receiver this year. That sounds like fun. But if I had to guess, I'd say Harrison Jr.'s fourth. A third, I think, should be Bo Nix. He put up phenomenal numbers, but he did come up short at the end. Like, I don't think he played very well in the Pac-12 title game. And I don't think it makes any sense to do this and then allow a quarterback who lost to another quarterback twice in the biggest games of the year for that quarterback to then finish ahead of him in the Heisman race. Like, to me, the fact that Penix outplayed him in 2 games and beat him in 2 games should make Penix finish ahead of Nix. I know Nix has better efficiency and he's got better numbers in some areas. Like, Penix has more yards. Nix has a better touchdown interception ratio. I think Nix is slightly higher in completion percentage. Like, Nix has the better raw stats, but I think the fact that Penix Jr. beat him twice should put Penix ahead of him because you have that one-to-one comparison. And even though I don't think Nix played poorly in the first game, he did fail on three makeable fourth downs that would have won the game. And Penix Jr. went down and won the game. And Penix Jr. in this most recent game, I do think actually played a little bit better than Nix. So I think Nix should be third. And I do think Penix Jr. should be second. And again, I want to stress I do want him to win, but if I'm being real, if I'm being objective here, just wanting the best player, the most deserving player to win, Penix, I watch every Huskies game, and I'm telling you, that second half of the year, he really wasn't all that special. He was still pretty good mostly, but there was nothing really special there. He had games with turnovers. He had games where the team didn't score very much. He had games where the completion percentage was way down. And initially the excuses were, well, he's sick. Well, there was bad weather. And then he started playing games where he wasn't sick and there wasn't bad weather. And it never really got that much better. Like, it was very shaky. Even in the Pac-12 championship game, he played well. But there was definitely a moment or two in that game where I was like, come on, you're supposed to be the man. You got to be the man. And he did step up, but the last half of the year, I'm just going to say it, Michael Penix Jr. was not even the main reason why the Huskies were winning games. He was definitely a reason, but I think more significant the second half of the year for the Huskies, they had a running game that could balance the offense and even control the game where there were a couple games the Huskies played this year where Dillon Johnson was actually their best player on offense, including the USC game and the Oregon Pac-12 title game. And their defense was really good in the fourth quarter. They were locked down in the fourth quarter, allowing their slim leads to hold up. We even had the defense straight up win a game against Arizona State. So Penix is kind of here because he's by far the best player on a 13-0 team that is ranked number 2 in the country, and they feel like they have to put him there. But I don't think this is a situation where he carried us all season. So, just being straight with you, I think Penix should finish second, but I don't see first. To me, Jayden Daniels should win the Heisman, and I know it's a little unconventional because his team isn't that good, but he put up Madden numbers. He put up the craziest numbers in all of college football. He was good in pretty much every game he played, and the games that LSU lost were pretty much entirely the fault of the defense. And he's got some of the best passing numbers in the country. He's got the best rushing numbers of any quarterback in the country. I think this is a situation where we have to overlook the fact that the team was not that good and just say, look, he's the best player. His team isn't terrible. It's not like he's Bailey Zappi or something like that. No, this is legit. And let's go ahead and give him this because we're not going to be able to give him, a national championship. We're not going to be able to give him a really good bowl matchup because his team wasn't good enough. Let's give him this. So, in my opinion, Jayden Daniels should finish first, but I do think Penix should finish second, and that would be really cool. All right. See you guys later. Bow down to Washington. Congratulations to Michael Penix Jr. He deserves it, and I am hoping that he wins.